Judge Judy Sheindlin, a television icon known for her sharp wit and no-nonsense attitude, has long been a figure of intrigue both on and off the bench. Her judicial style is direct, her humor biting, and her courtroom antics endlessly entertaining. So when news broke that she had divorced her husband, Jerry Sheindlin, the legal world and her fans alike, couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. It wasn't just the divorce itself that grabbed attention, it was the story behind it, a tale steeped in stubbornness, humor, and the kind of dramatic turn you'd expect from one of her famous televised cases. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Judy and Jerry Sheindlin were a power couple, each accomplished in their own right. Jerry, a retired judge and legal scholar, had a demeanor far less fiery than his wife's, but together they made an impressive pair. Their marriage spanned decades, with its fair share of ups and downs, as is true for any long-lasting relationship. However, their relationship hit a crossroads one fateful day when an argument escalated to the point of no return. The moment itself wasn't overly complex or particularly scandalous, but it was quintessentially Judy, decisive, clear-cut, and with an air of finality that left no room for ambiguity. The trouble began over something seemingly trivial, as many marital spats do. It was a clash of priorities, a disagreement over an issue that most couples might have let slide. But Judy, ever the principled adjudicator, wasn't one to let anything slide, not in her courtroom and certainly not in her marriage. She was a stickler for accountability, a trait that made her one of the most watched and respected television judges. But that same trait also meant she had little patience for what she perceived as inconsiderate or dismissive behavior. As the argument unfolded, Judy reportedly laid out her case with the precision of a seasoned litigator. Her words were sharp, her reasoning airtight. Jerry, used to the quieter and more measured debates of his academic and judicial background, found himself unprepared for the full force of Judy's conviction. It wasn't just the substance of the disagreement, it was the delivery. Judy's approach left no wiggle room, no space for a counter-argument. It was as if she had already written the ruling in her mind and was simply informing him of the verdict. The pivotal moment came when Jerry, in a moment of exasperation, dismissed the argument entirely. For Judy, this was more than a simple disagreement. It was a breach of respect. Her philosophy was built on mutual respect, and in that instant, she felt it had been shattered. In her mind, a line had been crossed. She wasn't the type to brood or let grievances fester. Instead, she acted swiftly, decisively, and with an almost admirable clarity of purpose. By the end of the day, she had announced her decision. She wanted a divorce. It wasn't the kind of declaration most people make in the heat of the moment, only to regret later. This was Judy after all. Once she decided something, she followed through with the same unyielding determination that had propelled her to fame. For Jerry, the news was both shocking and humbling. He knew she wasn't one to bluff or make empty threats. When she said it was over, she meant it. The speed with which she moved forward was breathtaking. Judy, true to form, handled the matter with the efficiency and resolve that had defined her career. Legal filings were prepared, agreements were drawn up, and the marriage was dissolved in what felt like the blink of an eye. Friends and family watched with a mix of astonishment and amusement, marveling at how seamlessly Judy had transitioned from wife to ex-wife. While the divorce itself was relatively amicable, there was no public mudslinging, no drawn-out legal battles. It highlighted a fascinating dynamic between two strong-willed individuals. Judy's decisiveness was both her greatest strength and, in this case, the catalyst for the end of her marriage. She had built her career on making quick, sound judgments, and she applied that same philosophy to her personal life. In her view, there was no point in dragging out a relationship that no longer met her standards. What makes this story so compelling is how it reflects Judy's larger-than-life persona. She wasn't afraid to make tough calls, whether on television or in her own home. Her ability to separate emotion from logic, to focus on the facts and act accordingly, was both her trademark and her defining characteristic. This wasn't just a divorce. It was a testament to the way Judy approached life, with unwavering confidence and an unshakable sense of justice. The implications of her decision were far-reaching, not in the sense of creating scandal or controversy, but in showcasing the importance of knowing one's own limits. Judy's choice to end her marriage wasn't about drama or spectacle. It was a deeply personal decision rooted in her belief that respect and mutual understanding were non-negotiable. She set an example, albeit an unconventional one, of prioritizing self-respect and standing firm in one's values. For those who admired Judy's no-nonsense approach on television, The divorce was an extension of the same principles she espoused in her courtroom. She didn't tolerate excuses or half-hearted efforts, and she held herself to the same high standard. It was this consistency that made her both relatable and inspiring. She wasn't perfect, far from it, but she was authentic, and that authenticity resonated with millions. Interestingly, the divorce did little to diminish her relationship with Jerry. The two remained on good terms, even reconciling years later and remarrying. It was a twist that surprised even the most ardent fans, a reminder that relationships are as complex and multifaceted as the people in them. Yet, even in reconciliation, Judy's independence and strength of character shone through. She wasn't afraid to make bold moves, to take risks, or to stand up for what she believed in, even if it meant walking away. In many ways, the story of Judy's divorce is less about the act itself and more about what it represents. It's a tale of conviction, self-awareness, and the courage to make difficult decisions. It's a reminder that even the most formidable individuals face challenges in their personal lives, and that strength isn't about avoiding mistakes, but about owning them and moving forward with purpose. Judge Judy's life, much like her courtroom, is a study in contrasts. She is fierce yet fair, stern yet compassionate, and deeply human despite her larger-than-life image. Her divorce was a moment of vulnerability, a crack in the armor that revealed the person behind the persona. Yet it was also a moment of empowerment, a declaration that she wouldn't settle for anything less than what she deserved. The aftermath of Judge Judy's divorce decision didn't dampen her unstoppable momentum. If anything, it underscored the essence of who she was, a woman who lived life on her terms. The divorce wasn't a failure in her eyes, it was a recalibration, a necessary move to preserve her sense of self-respect and the standards she held dear. It was a chapter that complemented the larger narrative of her life, one defined by resilience, independence, and the refusal to settle for less than she deserved. What stood out was how gracefully she carried herself through it all. She didn't wallow or seek pity, instead she charged ahead, much like in her courtroom, with purpose and poise. Fans continued to admire her for this unflinching resolve. For them, this was yet another example of the authenticity that made her relatable, despite her towering success. Judge Judy's decision was more than a personal milestone. It was a testament to living with integrity. Her actions spoke volumes about the importance of standing firm in one's values, even in the face of difficult choices. Through it all, she remained the same Judy, sharp, witty, and resolutely herself, proving that life's challenges are simply another case to be closed. In the end, the story isn't about a failed marriage. It's about a woman who refused to compromise her principles, even when it meant making a painful choice. It's about resilience, integrity, and the unapologetic pursuit of what's right. And for fans of Judge Judy, it's one more reason to admire the woman who has spent decades reminding us all to cut the nonsense and get to the heart of the matter. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.